It's 7 minutes after 8.
Don't go the other way. 7 minutes after? 7.
8 minutes after 7.
Okay, that's what you wanted to say.
Yes, it is 8 minutes after 7.
8 minutes after 7, not 7 minutes after 8. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm buffering.
Do we need to restart something?
I'm still buffering. Yeah. My Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 is actually telling me I haven't had enough sleep. Yeah? Haven't had enough sleep. Anyway, this watch should not judge me. You know, yesterday is Tuesday. Is the days I do Newsline on KTN News.
And so the morning tends to be a little hectic.
The morning just comes.
Yes.
Just like that.
And it comes with fatigue.
I was asking myself.
Yeah.
I left it. I watched you up to what time? Then you are here very early in the morning.
Yeah.
Think you are able to multitask?
You, Mr. Kariuki, and this watch of mine should not judge me. I'm a hard-working man. I wake up early, I sleep late. I'm an honest man.
Oh, okay.
I'm a family man. I'm a prayerful man. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke bang. I don't smoke shisha. I don't chew mocha. I'm just a victim of state capture. It's not me. I work hard.
Okay, hardworking person.
Well done, hardworking man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You hardworking person and your watch. Yes. Samsung Galaxy
Like
Watch 5
Pro.
Pro.
A man and his dog. This one is a man and his watch.
The man and his 5 Pro.
Tell us the proverb, City.
Right. If you travel with a donkey for many years, you will not be able to speak like a donkey, but you will know all their paths.
If you follow a donkey,
Travel with. Travel with.
The segment,
please
where,
repeat
the
the
segment
proverb.
where you are allowed to actually pronounce your own proverb will come. You will be given time.
But for now, kindly,
Yes, this donkey we're speaking of,
you're traveling with it.
not following
You're not
it.
following it.
if you travel for donkey years. Okay, the proverb again, please, City. This time I'll be more attentive.
Be a
Start.
little more attentive.
Okay.
If you travel with the donkey for many years, you will not be able to speak like a donkey, but you will know all their paths.
I will not repeat. I know there's a donkey and there's traveling and many years and talking and
Mr.
speaking like a
Kariuki was
donkey.
right. This
Yeah.
thing of TV at night and waking up, you are those ungodly hours.
You're not glittering. You're not on.
Peter Kariuki Getao is the director of Olive Limited. And this is the company that's behind this beautiful investment, gated community, Naserian Ridge, Phase 3, that is on your way to Suswa from Ngong. Peter, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Eric and the team.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Let's start with that proverb. It's a long one. Let's not ask you to repeat what he said. What do you understand from the proverb? How do you interpret this proverb?
One thing I understand, the only time or occasion when a donkey speaks is during Balaam's in the Bible. And this one is a unique one. Huh? But it seems that as you continue, you see, it's saying as you walk with a donkey, you almost resemble. You take the characteristic of the
donkey.
Of the donkey.
Only thing you'll not do is speak like a donkey.
The only thing you do is you don't speak like a donkey. Yeah.
It is Mushera na Mukongo. Mukondo.
Unakunduka.
In the Kondo Kitake.
What?
No,
That's Greek.
It's Greek. So, Peter, welcome to the conversation. Welcome to the hot seat of the situation.
Thank you so much.
We've been talking about this beautiful project, Naserian Ridge, Phase 3, that is when you're in Ngong and you're heading towards Suswa.
Yes.
New, beautiful tarmac road.
Yeah.
The entire stretch of that road is what should be about 60 to 70 kilometers. But they've done a lot of it. You get to Naserian Ridge.
Yes.
And you as Olive Limited, putting up something, a concept for a gated community.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, give us the exact specific directions, coordinates.
The exact coordinates. Thank you, Eric and the team, for hosting me today. And we've been pushing about telling our clients about Naserian Ridge Phase 3. It's exactly 20 minutes from Ngong town along the newly constructed Ngong Suswa Road. The Ngong Suswa Road is a stretch of 66 kilometers from Ngong up to Suswa. In fact, the same road is the one that is connecting the dry port from Ngong. That is Naivasha dry port at a shopping center called Ewaso. And that's hence why the dry port is at Ewaso Kedong. And it's a new frontier. It is some part of the Greater Southern Bypass. That road is part of the Greater Southern Bypass that starts all the way from Salama along Mombasa Road, connecting at Isinya, Kiserian, now Ngong, downwards. You see, if you go to Kenha's website, you will see all those bypasses that the government intends to construct. One, if maybe our economy had not been tapered by political and all those issues during the one-party regime, I think all the trailers right now will be using the Greater Southern Bypass, not the Southern Bypass. That's it from Naserian to Kikuyu. Now the Greater Southern Bypass.
So from Salama, it goes all the way to
Isinya.
Then you join that Isinya road
Yes.
to Kiserian,
To
up Matasia,
Yes.
into Ngong, into Suswa.
But the intention was up once it reaches Kiserian, it connects at this town, the new administration of Kajiado West at Kisamis. Then it connects with JM Road, where JM body was found at Kimuka.
Wow.
Kimuka. Then it drops down now to Suswa. So basically where our project is within 20 minutes drive from Ngong town. And I think to be specific, it is 15 kilometers from Ngong town.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying it's 20 minutes drive. You don't have traffic there. By the way, that road is very important. The Greater Southern Bypass is very important, especially for those people who are coming from the Greater South Nyanza. That's in Migori, Kisii, Bomet and Narok. It's shortening the distance to Nairobi by 20 kilometers. Rather than now using the Maimayu escarpment and the hectic traffic, especially when there is an incident along that escarpment, you can be held there by the jam up to maybe 4 hours. Now it is shortening that distance. In fact, it's remaining like a distance of 3 to 4 kilometers now to have the complete tarmac applied. So we have, as Olive, we have been doing business along that road since we got that. Once you want to invest, you look at the intelligence of what is really coming. This being a new frontier, and once you are traveling along that road, you see new areas of Nyamachoma. That's showing that that place is really growing very fast. And I can tell you, matters with the return on investment, especially why we are encouraging people to come and invest along that road, is the return on investment. The return on investment is very high. Since we started doing projects along that area and road, the prices have been doubling every year. Only 2020 because of COVID, but it didn't even maybe stop the trajectory, or the curve is still on the upward. So for people who want to buy one for land banking or speculative, that is the area. If you want to get the return, the highest return on investment, since if you, and we have also tried to look at the affordability. One thing I can tell you, Eric, is this property, it falls within the Nairobi metropolis, or within what we call the UGB, that is urban growth boundary. In a city a radius of 50 kilometers, that's where you get the impact of the economic activities from the CBD or capital city. A radius of 50 kilometers. And that's why you see all those satellite towns, name them, Kitengela, Ngong, Naserian, they are within that radius. And because they mostly rely on the economic activity of the bigger economy of the city. And the other thing is, Ngong is one of the fastest growing urban center. And all the indicators, banks, if you go to Ngong, all the first-tier banks, they are there. The microfinances. And you can see it's a small town, but the economic activities at Ngong, you can't imagine. The pressure of land demand, even in Karen, also makes Ngong being another option.
Yeah.
If you look at the upcoming high rises and office space demand along Ngong Road, you see, Mr. Muga here can attest that we used to have mansionettes and along Woodley, that area. But right now, it's quite different. All of these people, they have been moved. Where are they moving? They are moving towards that direction.
Towards the outskirts
especially to outskirts of Nairobi. And specifically, if all of those people who are maybe walking along Ngong Road, the only choice, because of maybe you don't want to, every other morning you are struggling with two maybe traffic jams. You always rely on one traffic jam. So that's why the choice of Ngong and the demand for Ngong. Go to Google Analytics. You will get the demand is among the top 10 areas that people are searching for land.
Right.
Hence why Olive, because what we usually do is do a lot of analysis when we want to invest. And even through Google Analytics, where are people really searching land? Because I think the highest right now within Nairobi is along Kangodo Road. Definitely that one we know. The reason is because majority of Nairobians live on east side of Nairobi, so hence they can connect well with. But Ngong has its own people, also its class. So we have done our own analysis and seen found
this is a growth area.
This is a growth area.
Tell us about Olive Limited, right?
Yes.
So what kind of company is Olive Limited? How long have you been in existence, and what exactly do you do?
Olive Limited was incorporated in 2014, specifically, to be very specific, on November 2016. And we've been in this business. We started small as an agent, selling on behalf of other people. And we have grown organically, and now we started selling our own, buying and selling. And when we knew that we have the capacity to sell our own, we started selling our own properties. So we've been in this industry for quite some time as agents. That's where we started. And now as full-fledged company. Olive is a registered company, a real estate company in Kenya. And it is among those companies that has been delivering, because one challenge that we have realized in the industry is matters with trust.
Yep.
Trust issues. And that's what Olive delivers. That is what Olive assures our clients, that we will give you that document that everybody is looking for.
The title deed.
The title deed.
Within how long? You know, that because that's where the issues come in, right?
Yes.
When people are thinking of buying pieces of land and you're thinking, all right, so they tell you first, let's just buy so that we can start processing title. And then after some time, they tell you, now, you know what, we need you to pay an extra 100,000 shillings so that then we can all start processing the title. You pay. And then they tell you, we're waiting for all of you to pay so that we can have sufficient numbers. The reason we charge 100,000 and not 200,000 is because we wanted all of you to... You spend 3 years waiting for a title deed.
Wow.
So what is this guarantee that Olive Limited gives that, if you say I'll get a title, I will actually get a title?
The guarantee we usually offer to or give to our clients is one. The first thing that we usually do, we don't sell land that we don't own.
Okay.
The land we usually sell, that particular land, that portion of an eighth, we usually make sure it has its own title, not the mother title. Some instances we'll be having the mother title, but we usually sell land. Right now, Naserian Rich, it has all those titles, individual titles. The one that you select, go and do the search at the registry, government registry. And that's what we guarantee you. Once now you complete paying, within a record of 60 days, you'll have the title under your name. So even the prices that we are offering is all inclusive. You don't wait. Once, Eric, you have completed, or Muga have completed paying his parcel, we just do the transfer.
Okay. For a lot of people, amenities are a big deal.
Yes.
And you talk about it being, 500 meters from the tarmac road, talk about, having set up 1, 2, 3. Amenities, again, functioning water supply, functioning access to power. If somebody's going to come up and put up something there, the question is, can I put up and then still have access to some of these things? What is that like for this development?
That's a good question, too. The social amenities are all within reach. One, let me speak about water. When Chinese were doing the SGR, they came across, we have one of the longest tunnel in Eastern Central Africa, the Ngong Tunnel 1. It is 4.5 kilometers, all the way from Ebulbul to Kimuka area. So when they were doing this, they were drilling the tunnel, they came across an aquifer with a capacity of 17,000 meter cubed of water. That's a lot of water. Even right now, the water is still running. In fact, before they collected it to a reservoir, it almost ran to Magadi. So we have enough water along that area, even the project itself. And most of our projects, we usually do the geosurvey. We look at, is there any area within the project that we have water? So already in our project, we have set one of the plots where we have done all the survey work, the geosurvey. So we have set aside an area that will be having a backup in terms of water. We'll drill that borehole once people settle. And now water, it's within reach. In fact, it's 500 meters. Where we are saying 500 meters from the tarmac, also that's where the water is. Also the power, the school is there, public school is there. So once people start settling in that gated community, all the social amenities are within reach. That is schools. And also, the things like maybe banks, hospitals, at 20 minutes drive, you can reach them because accessibility is guaranteed. Yes.
You've mentioned schools, you've mentioned banks. Did you mention hospitals?
Yes, hospitals are within reach.
20 minutes again.
20 minutes again.
If you say this is phase 3,
Yes.
so I assume there was phase 1 and phase 2.
Yes.
Within the same locality?
In fact, this was a block of 50 acres. We subdivided it into 15 because of managing of other costs. So the first phase, we have sold out. The second phase, now we are in phase 3.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, on 19th, we'll be issuing title deeds for those who have bought phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay.
So we'll be issuing title deeds for those who have already
What's
completed
the
paying.
total number of families, if families can be counted by the units you have?
By the units we have.
Yes, how many?
In phase 3, we have it's very close to a shopping center.
Yes.
We've set aside one of the block for commercial purposes. That is 24 portions, measuring 100 by 100, that is quarters. And all the portions there are 80 portions. Yeah? 80 portions. with different sizes, because we are considering there's one who maybe would like to have even putting a kindergarten. We have 1.5 acres, we have 2 acres, we have eighths, we have quarters, we have halves. So we have tried to see that at least we meet the demand of the community, because all these other amenities like kindergarten and such, they are supposed to be within the estate. So we have set aside for somebody who would like to be, who have that entrepreneurship mind. We still have such land set aside for such amenities within the estate.
How many units did you have in phase 1 and phase 2?
Phase 1 we had 140, phase 2 also 140 units.
So that's 280 families.
Yes.
And then 80
Yeah.
in 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for those phases we had done only 8. But this one now, because it's closer to the shopping center, we are looking even the overflow of the center. We come close to our project. So we have set aside some of the portions for commercial purposes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's
but within the estate.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the guide? Somebody buys a piece of land, and then is there a certain way that you want them to be able to put up, their home? How then further then do you get involved in that process for them?
One, we usually work with our clients in terms of we don't just sell land to you, then we leave you like that, because there are people who are very busy, and they are not able even to follow up with maybe construction approvals from maybe the relevant county governments. And what we usually do, we usually connect our clients. We have a pool. We open up a WhatsApp group. And these people are able, now the neighbors, because you bought Naserian. So we open under that name a WhatsApp group, so that now people can start engaging themselves within themselves on how now to make it even better than now the company. But the company is there to assist or to facilitate and connect them, so that if they are putting resources together, it makes even some of these things cheaper. If Mr. Muga here was to connect water, which is maybe 200 meters away, and the next maybe the neighbor, you don't know your neighbor. Yes, she still have the same issue. You see, it will be very easy once you now one group that you have the same maybe needs. So once we connect you, and we are there to facilitate you and also to manage the estate, because we usually leave some land portions for the company, so that it have at least some management. If there is any issue that the resident of that estate or that particular gated community, they can have a reference, an office to refer to.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you're not necessarily telling people how to build or what to...
This one, because one, it's not a controlled.
Yes.
Yeah? It's not controlled, because we are looking at affordability. Once you register for a controlled development, it becomes costly. And we are trying to make sure that majority of Kenyans at least can afford to buy these parcels of land. But once we bring you together, we'll still have, as members of the estate, either to agree, can we register this to be a controlled
development?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. It's 29 minutes to 8. Peter Kariuki Gitao is the director of Olive Limited. This is the company behind Naserian Ridge Phase 3. We've been talking about it. This beautiful development that is just 20 minutes from Ngong town on your way to Suswa, the newly built tarmac road, just 15 kilometers from Ngong town. And it tells us, well, this is going, the pieces of land are going like hotcake. Already phase 1, phase 2 sold out. Phase 3 is what we are discussing, and Jimmy Gathu of Jimmy Gathu Live will be taking people to Naserian Ridge this Saturday to go and see, as Peter will be issuing title deeds to those who bought into phase 1 and phase 2. And then you can also now see the available plots in phase 3. You can book a plot. 50 by 100 is going for 650,000 shillings only. If you join Jimmy Gathu on Saturday, you get a 20,000 bob discount. Hapo immediately. And because Peter is in the studio, he'll also tell us what else is throwing in today, for this particular conversation. How do you get yourself onto the bus with Jimmy Gathu? Just pay 2,000 shillings, pesa ya macho, ya mafuta. Pay bill number 4068347. I'll repeat, the pay bill number is 4068347. Account number, enter your ID, pay 2,000 shillings, and you will be on the bus with Jimmy Gathu this Saturday. Or for more details, go to olivelimited.com. That's olivelimited.com. Time for a break. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Conversation continues with Peter Kariuki, Director of Olive Limited, about Naserian Ridge Phase 3. So you say it's not a controlled development, but it's a gated community.
Yes.
What is a controlled development then?
A controlled development, that means that there are structures that you can put. There are you can maybe extend to a certain number of floors. And also control also comes with also in terms of other activities that you are not allowed to do. Maybe you are not supposed to keep pets there.
Yeah.
There are so many things that are once you speak about control.
You're not allowed to open a bar.
You're not yeah, exactly.
Or a disco within the estate.
So why is that expensive? I mean, does that mean that for you to have a controlled development, you must register it with the government?
Yeah, you must register the relevant county governments. Okay. And that's where we come up with there's the issue of the change of use. The change of use. That's where now you are supposed to say exactly how are you going to use this part of the parcel that or the estate that you intend to put up. That's what we call the controlled. There are things that you can do. You are limited, but gated, you're not really limited. People come as estate residents and agree. Okay. If they can register it, they can register it. But for us right now, we are not doing the control.
No, you're not doing the control.
Yes.
But there are the basics that you're providing.
Yes.
So, for example, you are doing the infrastructure within this. Are you not?
Yeah, already we
demarcating the roads and the sewer system and living where lives.
We are not doing the sewer system. Yeah, because also we have a lot of technology have come in hand in terms of now we can have the biodigesters.
Yes.
So if you consider like putting up, even the government itself or the county government have not been able to match the real estate growth in Kenya. So putting up, if you look at how Nairobi initially was planned, the government was going ahead, putting all the infrastructure, the road, the street lights, the sewage system. But right now, they are not able to match the real estate companies or the growth of the real estate. For us, what we usually do, we make sure each and every plot is accessible. Okay. We do roads and we apply malam and we compact all the roads and also we leave the leaveways for other infrastructures like water or cables, power lines and such. We usually give, in fact, before the plans are approved, the relevant county government usually look for those. Right now, initially, the roads were given 6 meters, but right now it can't approved if it's not 9 meters road, because with 9 meters you have 1.5 from one end and 1.5 from one end, and the actual road takes 6. So you can have flash water, drain waters and such. So they are part of the approval. What usually the county government does is to make sure that you have met all those needs for the estate. So for us, we usually do roads well marked and with moram. So it's all accessible.
When you say let me revise my question. Essentially, what you say you do is you sell the plot.
Yes.
Okay. Now, it's an all-in-one, meaning I buy the plot. I don't have to pay any extra cost in order to get my title deed. Did I hear you correctly?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what prevents you from adding to this particular cost after talking to your clients or prospective clients about how it is you will then be able to provide, because the sewage system is actually something that is touchy for most developments.
Yes.
Do you provide street lights? The reason why I'm asking these questions is, yes, it is good to let the buyers form an association, which I'm sure you help them do, but as you form the association, do you have suggestions or say, okay, you bought the plot, these are things that you could do? And as a unit, meaning is it possible for you to consider doing this and this and this and this for your plots? Because these are things they will need anyway.
Definitely they require those.
And if they work as a unit, you say 180. If 180 people come in and put their resources together, it'll be much easier to do these very same things that you're talking about than if an individual comes up to now try and do whatever it is that he needs. I say this because I have lived in places where essentially, aside from the roads and probably some water drainage passage and some street lights, you are left to do exactly what you wanted. Now, that development would fall in the category of what you call genuinely mixed development. Somebody has a 3-storied house, somebody has a bungalow, somebody... Yes.
You see, that's a good question, Mr. Buga. What we are looking, and that's where we want the government also to assist the real estate companies, is also to give rebates or in terms of taxes, so that we are able to achieve such. Because even these roads, if you go to where we really we have those projects, you will see it's a lot of work we shall do. It's maybe bushy or somewhere that the land is virgin. Nothing has ever been done. So even...
It is as God made it.
Yes. Even having the access road to the main road, it's usually us who incur that cost. When we are looking at the government incentives that they can offer to real estates, they are such, so that at least there is something that we want to achieve. Because once you do, those are what you are describing is fully serviced plots.
Yes.
When you go to that extent, now you are reaching to another category.
Yes.
Or cadre of clients. And also the costs of the land will always go up.
Yes, it will.
So it all depends on the target market. Who are you targeting? Yeah? And making this land affordable, you can only maybe do things in phases. Yeah? You acquire them in phases. Even if you put the provision of such amenities, a place that you can have a treatment area, water treatment area, because it will require one. Because how many counties have sewerage system? Very few.
Very few.
Very few. Very few. For a company to have such infrastructure require in terms of billions. Yeah, it requires a lot of money.
Yeah.
To put so that you can come up with such. And also, all the approvals from NEMA and such. It's quite hectic to have your own.
So it drives the cost up.
And expensive.
And expensive.
Yes.
So what we are doing, at least to make sure people are able to acquire somewhere they can call home.
Somewhere they can access.
Where they can access.
Yes.
And relatively affordable price.
You know, when you talk of incentives, what in your opinion would be the sort of incentive that you would consider adequate if the government want to offer? Because indeed, even developments such as yours contribute to that huge government plan of providing
affordable housing.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It falls into that grid and to that thought. What sort of incentives would the government provide that would ease the workload and make the reality that the government keeps promising a genuine touch and see reality?
You see, there is that disconnect between the government and the real estate, that the needs that the real estate companies would like to have on the ground. Everybody would like to maybe have your clients acquire land that has all the social amenities.
Yes.
Especially in terms of water. Even that water. That's why we are doing our own.
You provide water.
We provide water, our own boreholes. which maybe the government could have even given us incentives in terms of maybe having a fund for such. Because if we are coming and we are bringing a nested here, why can't the government assist us? So, and that's an area maybe would like even the current CS for land and planning to consider us as the stakeholders. How are you going to assist us as an industry so that we can also contribute towards making the government achieve affordable housing. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that then, because essentially what we are doing now is opening the conversation into a partnerships kind of thing.
Exactly.
We already know the government is at the last proclamation, 250,000 units per year is what the government wants to be able to do. Now, looking at it, it's a monstrosity of a project. That's the truth. And maybe the government also does not have enough financial muscle to be able to deliver those units, if we're looking at it plainly. We do, however, have many private organizations, such as, Olive, who is already into these. So now, as you speak of the government coming in, what would a partnership look like? Whereby, because government infrastructure already exists for certain things to happen, and here are private organizations who might have the financial muscle coming together. So government works on infrastructure, private companies work on these other things, and we come together, you deliver, it's commercially viable for these private companies, and at the end of the day, we have the units.
Yeah, there are so many incentives, but that maybe real estate companies would like maybe to get from the government. If you look at the kind of infrastructure we're speaking about, it is in terms of machineries. We require machineries. If they can even allow us to import those machineries, and without paying the entire duties, at least they give a special duty. If you're importing for such a project, you have a certain duty, for the real estate companies. At least that one can make things affordable.
Yeah, that would be part of a partnership, for example. That's the kind of thing that we're saying.
Exactly.
If the government then has the muscle to be able to get some of these things rolling, lowering taxes on imports of some things that are necessary in terms of equipment, making sure that, fine, we have the government infrastructure for things like sewage. If we do that, private companies are coming then to set up this, but we make sure that everything that you need from an infrastructure perspective is set up. Is that not something that could work out well?
That could work well for real estate companies. And I'm looking at maybe it's something that, and I'm not really certain, these Chinese companies who have been doing constructions, they usually come with their lorries, with all their machineries. But I think there are those incentives that they have been given because they are engaging in big projects. Why can it be extended to the locals? Because we can build that, we have that capacity, or people can pull resources together and also acquire those machineries in a relatively cheap price.
Yep.
And the duty, it's not about the cost. The cost is about the duty. Once you import even a vehicle, the duty almost
it's almost double.
It's almost double the cost of that.
Yep.
So that's what we are looking at. Why, if the government can look at that area, I think Kenyans can really go to that extent and make even government achieve. Is one of the promises that he has given to. It has promised Kenyans. So I think there's a room.
There's space for this.
There's space for this.
One of the things that some governments, of course, I'm talking about developed governments, do, they look at, say, first-time
investors,
homeowners. People want to, yes, okay. And what they give them is grants. Now, we know that if you save through NSSF, you may be able to, should we say, access certain monies. The Retirement Benefits Authority,
in a retirement scheme.
Exactly. That scheme is now, there are schemes that can make it possible. And these schemes, the government has a big say in it. They can make some certain, this thing that we're talking about through partnerships. They are the government. Now, a PPP that involves because these schemes have money. The funds sit there. They have them. But how can if the Mwananchi can access it, then it means the Mwananchi can do these things that we're talking about, because they will have. But right now, you seem to be left on your own to rely on your own resources and your own wit.
Yeah.
Okay? We have the National Construction Authority and National Housing.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, surely, they have the might, they have the equipment, these things that we're speaking of. How is it that these institutions can partner with developers, people who already have spent money and invested in doing this sort of work to ensure that this housing dream that governments have becomes a reality? Because it can become a reality.
Just by taking a load from those initial costs.
Yes.
Like you're saying, the basic infrastructure,
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
You think this area is going to develop, they'll need water, so provide water or subsidize the company that's investing, so that then you know the cost of water is off-taken by the government. I want to ask a question then about planning.
Yes.
Because Olive Limited, I'm sure beyond Naserian Ridge in Ngong, on Ngong Suswa Road, there are other projects that you're also involved in.
Yeah.
If you look at the way land buying is happening in the country, it's spread everywhere. And land is actually being subdivided into those units that we're talking about, 50 by 100, in very many parts of the country.
Yeah.
Now, the question is on the physical planning, especially by the county governments. Like demarcating and knowing this area is a high potential area for, a high population. So how do we start planning for it? Do we have amenities already in place or planned and said, this, if you buy a piece of land here, you'll only be able to, we can zone it. This will be industrial. Or if you buy a piece of land here within this radius, you must have provision for school, for a hospital, for this and the other, which will be government and public facilities. Do you get that kind of vibe when you go to the counties and you're seeking to subdivide land and you're meeting at the lands board? Do they ask you anything like, okay, so how many people are going to live in this area? We know you have bought this 50-acre piece of land, you're subdividing so that you can bring a community to live here. Your neighbor has 100 acres, they have subdivided so that they can have another X number of people. We don't have a school that is covering this 1,000 people. You must have a school.
I think majority of the county government, Olive have concentrated its businesses within the UGB, that is within urban growth boundary, that is Nairobi and its environment. And we have the county government of Kiambu, Machakos, Kajiado, and most of them, all of them, not most of them, all of them at least, you must have those, they must approve. So at least they know what they require. But what they are lacking is any incentives, because even for those approvals, they really charge us a lot of money for them to approve those plans. And it's something that the government need to do, because the counties, the difference is very big. What the Machakos County is charging is different from what Kajiado is charging. It's different from what Kiambu or Nairobi is charging. So if they can bring these costs, that at least you have a predetermined cost of approvals. At least it can manage, it can assist us in terms of even the pricing of some of these properties. So in terms of planning, you must, those approvals, they are done by the county government. They can't.
But do they have a master plan? Like, for example, Kajiado, you're in Kajiado,
Yes.
Naserian Phase 3 is in Kajiado.
Yes.
And this is a newly developing area.
Yes.
Is Kajiado County looking at this and saying there's growing interest and we are within the urban growth zone, the boundary, so let us make sure that, first of all, the county government itself sets aside public land. Here we're going to have a market, here we're going to have a shopping center, here we're going to have a public school, here we're going to have a hospital in future. So when Olive is coming, they're told, you fit within this area which has access to this school, this primary school, this secondary school, this hospital.
You see, initially when the adjudication was being done, speaking about the Kajiado County government, they had that provision. So they had set aside provision for schools, for shopping centers, and still now they have zoned. There are areas that they can't allow you to subdivide less than 5 acres.
Okay.
Yeah. So already they have zoned.
Okay.
That one I can applaud the county government of Kajiado. They have already done it in terms of zoning, that you can subdivide certain areas into 8s. So already they have zoned. And that's why you need to, for them, you must pass through their offices for approvals, so that they all see, identify if you are falling, the land is falling within the areas they have zoned. The kind of approvals, are you allowed to subdivide 8 or subdivide 5 acres? Because that's how they have done it. So when the adjudication was done, they had given all the provisions, even for police stations and of such. So for the county government, where right now we have the project, that one they have done.
You say that there's going to be is it a shopping center and a market coming up?
Yes.
How far from Naserian Ridge?
In fact, we are speaking, we are just next to it. I'm saying 200 meters. Yes, that's 200 meters. In fact, from the Idikiro shopping center, where the bus stop will be, we are just 200 meters from there. And that's why I'm saying some of the properties that's neighboring, some of the parcels that are neighboring that shopping center, we have set aside for commercial, because in future,
This will be a commercial.
will be a commercial.
I
You
see.
know, that falls into place with what you said earlier on when you started speaking about looking for properties to buy so that you can actually make business out of them. You intelligently look at where development is and where it is going.
Yes.
And so by the time it comes, it finds you already there.
Find
You're
you
already
there.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to ask,
Yes.
are you thinking of a phase 4?
Now, I have a surprise for our clients, those who will be boarding the bus, because we are calling it a twin launch. As we be launching phase 3, Naserian phase 3, we also be launching another project within the same radius, within the same area. We are calling it Leleshwa Gardens phase 3.
Leleshwa Garden.
Leleshwa Gardens. The name Leleshwa is derived from the vegetation that is predominant in that area. It's called Leleshwa in Kimasai. In fact, Kileleshwa derives the name from the same vegetation. It used to have the same vegetation, Leleshwa. So we are telling people, those who did not own now are not able even to have land in Kileleshwa, they can come and have one in
Leleshwa.
Leleshwa. Yes.
So you'll be launching it on Saturday?
On Saturday.
Okay.
Yes.
With an introductory price?
With an introductory price of 780,000 only.
Great. Great. Peter, we thank you very much for joining us today. Tell us again. So Saturday, we join Jimmy Gathu on the bus. And if you don't join Jimmy Gathu on the bus, you find your way Ngong, get onto the Suswa Road, just 15 kilometers from Ngong town, the left or right, as you head towards Suswa.
It's on your right.
It's on your right.
Yeah, but Leleshwa Garden is on your left.
And there'll be a big signboard here that shows.
We'll have the teardrops.
Yeah, that
all
says,
around.
this is where we are at.
Yeah, and for those, Eric, for those who will be maybe using the self-drive, they can visit our website. We have the location map. They can locate us through via Google Map. It will take us up to the place. So if they visit our website, www.olivelimited.com,
They'll find it.
yes, you'll find it.
Peter Kariuki Getao, director of Olive Limited.